Welcome, folks, to the Reseller Niche Podcast, episode 17. I'm here with my buddy, Rowing Pickers, Russ Lee. How's it going, Russ?
Hey, Mo, how are you?
Good, thanks. Oh, and I need to... Okay, I just needed to mute that. Can you still hear me, Russ?
Yep, hear
Okay.
you good. And it looks like we're live on the other feed. It looks like we are live broadcasting on YouTube.
Excellent. Okay, so this is our first Google Hangout / podcast. We've never done that before. We've done Hangouts, but never incorporated the podcast in there. So this should be new. And today's topic is Q3 snuck up on us. I guess because of July 4th, it kind of got hidden for a couple days, but it's here already. Half the year is over. So we're going to be discussing Q3, our plans, brainstorming, and moving into Q4, real general topic. So I guess, first of all, how was your 4th of July, Russ?
It was good and uneventful.
Uneventful.
I'm past the fireworks age, but they're still cool. How about you?
Oh, well, we can't avoid, I can't avoid the fireworks. I had some on Instagram, but like literally my whole neighborhood for the month of July and maybe half of the month of June, there's fireworks every single night. And I'm talking about like loud fireworks. Just to give you an example, I dropped off my kids to the daycare in the parking lot. On the way there, I could see there was an empty like a beer can, and then like these big, and those are real fireworks on the ground. So wow. They're all over the place here. It's too easy to get them.
So they're constant. Like now, I'm in Louisiana right now, so their fireworks they can sell like 6 days before 4th of July, and then 4th of July is the last day. So
yeah.
It's not a constant, but
no, they have those, but those fireworks, those are the kind that I get for my kids. I mean, those ones we did some of those, but I'm talking about the ones that people seem to find that are like the real deal. Like it looks like you're at an amusement park or something.
Gotcha. So cool. Yeah. Can you believe it? Q3 is here already. Like you said, half the year.
Yep.
Let's talk first about this part of the year. Looking back, Q1, Q2. I see a lot of people posting about the slowness at Q2, and I think it's the second half of Q2 that really slows down.
Yeah.
First quarter, you're still running some highs.
Yeah, definitely.
Everybody's got their Christmas money, and they're still buying. So we kind of go through that, and we're in that period that every year that it slows down. And for some people it slows down, some people it doesn't. What do you think summer trends as far now? What do you think is one of the big summer trends that like today? What's today? Today's the 6th.
Yeah. First
part of July. What do you think selling outside of the norm?
Okay, well, I think it's kind of it depends on your platform, because we're both eBay and Amazon. So if you're talking about eBay, I mean, there's stuff that sells on both, but I mean, stuff you're kind of getting to the tail end of the water sports, the kids activity type stuff. Like there's a lot of like, for example, they have like those water balloon things. Those are doing well. Like anything to do with like going outside, using water, using outdoor kind of fun activities for the summer, that kind of stuff, like slip and slides, like I'm blanking on this, but there's a bunch of little toys that you can get, like this balloon thing that's not 6 balloons like wrapped together for water balloon throwing or something like
soakers,
that.
That type
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that kind of stuff is probably at the tail end. People bought that probably in May. Right now, if you're on Amazon, at least for me, people are gearing up for I guess back to school. Some people are even talking about Halloween, but for me, it's people ordering books, ordering supplies for school. Right. I do very few bundles, but the one bundle that I did very late last year, I did it in the probably second week of September. I did a bundle of school supplies. I got it from Dollar Store. I put it together. Right. I thought, yo, this is my first like normal bundle. And I thought, okay, this is cool. I sold, I think, one, and I made like 20 of them. They all sold this week and last week.
Right. So you're starting.
And all of, yeah.
And from a buyer's perspective, it's smarter to buy, so college is starting in about 45 days, they start figuring them. Schools are varied because some schools start as early as the 1st of August. I think, here in Louisiana, I think I heard that August 9th is their start date. So as a buyer's perspective, it's great to get that in early before you do have the big ramp up and prices go up.
Yeah.
So, as sellers, we can kind of capitalize on that to know that even 6 weeks out, start putting our items on like that. I think something too, Mo, in right now that we can have a potential in is, this July is a June and July, but I think July is one of the larger vacation months.
Yeah.
That people are gearing up for that. So some of your vacation items, the whole range of vacation items that can be, your bags, your luggage, of course, big luggage to me is a tough sell because of airlines today.
Yeah, definitely.
I have noticed some vacation items, will sell this time of year. And of course, you always have your one-offs, the electronics, the vintage stuff will sell.
Yeah. On a side note, you just mentioned luggage. I don't know if because I don't fly that much, but every time I do, there seems to be a change in the size that they allow. And then I'm not the kind of person that packs a lot of stuff, and I'm not really flying internationally. I'm going domestically. So I think there would be, maybe they already have this, I don't know, but something that has, because they have size charts, but when you get to the airport, maybe they sell luggage specifically geared towards what you can use on a plane now. Maybe that sounds dumb, but you know what I mean?
They do. And what I saw at one store recently in the last couple months, they actually had the same type of box at the airport. There's a box. Put your luggage in. They had the same type of box. Of course, I fly cut rate, or I fly small domestics. Like the recent flight to here was you can have a personal carry-on. So I use a backpack. I carry no backpack. And that's there's a great travel item there. You go through an airport today and everybody is using backpacks.
Yeah.
It's just, very rarely do they have carry-on. All the way from, I saw families on this trip. It was coming out of Orlando. So of course there were families on this trip, and from mom, dad, junior, little sister, and the baby, they all had backpacks on them.
Yeah.
And so, there's a potential vacation item.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I sold a rolling backpack a couple of days back. It was a JanSport. And I didn't know, I sold this on eBay. I didn't know if it was real or not because the wording on the JanSport was kind of spaced. It was like a little bit too much space between the lettering, so I didn't even write JanSport on there. But that kind of stuff. And what I noticed is the backpacks have the big front section for your laptop now.
Right.
That's more and more common.
So we've got a couple people in live chat, and Danvers. First of all, hey everybody, thanks for coming over. Danvers is saying swim clothes, summer clothes, textbooks of Amazon is kind of what they're doing. It's just summertime. You got to start gearing. So not only that, let's talk about the end of Q4, or I'm sorry, the end of Q3, Mo. You've got the first part, the summer, and then you've got fall. So, start ramping up for that fall time too, because it does get cold. And it does get cool in areas in October, September.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we've got that school supplies, all of that fun stuff for Q3.
I mean, how does that? I mean, you're like, I mean, you were in Florida before, and so how does that work for you? I mean, does it get cold, or does it get kind of like, I'm gonna get a light, start selling light jackets, or are you just selling to people on the other coast? Or
The nice thing about that, Mo, some of the things I've found in Florida, I believe it or not, I sold quite a few pairs of hockey skates that I found in Florida, and it's always cold somewhere.
That's true.
So the big jackets that you find now, list them up. It's, people are gearing up ahead of time. The light jackets do sell locally, but it's cold somewhere. And always, I remember one time in the dead of winter, I sold when I was in Alabama. I said it was way too cold to swim in Alabama, but I sold swimsuits down to Miami.
Yeah, I mean, I think I remember the first time I thought about. I should say I didn't think about people in other hemispheres. I remember the first time I sold a big jacket to somebody in Australia. It was a big, like an Abercrombie and Fitch thick, like it was super thick, and it was like July. I'm like, why are they buying? I'm like, oh wait, that's Australia. So I mean, it was like basically like they're a cold time of the year. So I mean,
right. When you've got, when you realize that we are a global, through global shipping or international shipping, you have that. So
I mean, it's, I guess, moving forward in terms of what you're selling, is there anything you stopped selling from like last month or last 3 months?
Well, it's hard I would have to ask you that question, because it's hard for me. I sold out every bit of my inventory in Florida before I left.
Okay.
Right, and I'm starting with all new inventory.
Okay, we'll remember that point. We'll touch on that in a second.
Sure.
But okay, so for me, this is the first year. I should say this is the first year. Last October, or towards the tail end of last back to school is when I started doing seasonal buying, mainly for Amazon. I'm starting to do this a little bit more for eBay now. But the only reason I do it more for Amazon is because I like to buy it in bulk when it's not something that really interests me. Right. That's kind of my mindset. Amazon is great, but I don't really like a lot of the stuff I'm selling on there. Maybe that's weird. eBay, I really usually like this. I mean, it's more interesting stuff. But back to my point is, so for example, last year I started with back to school. I started late. Like I said, it was like the second week of September. I started doing bundles. I hear Zahir was asking about that. Yes, bundles do really well on Amazon. There's so many good YouTube videos on that. But so I did that bundle. I did 2 or 3 bundles, about 20 items, 20 different bundles, all back to school stuff. I shipped that in late. But when I did that, I noticed, these are not selling. So the next thing was Halloween. So Halloween, and then actually a little bit after that was Christmas, like inflatables. Those did really, really well.
All right. The yard art.
Yeah, but you have to do it like 2-3 months in advance.
Sure.
So in September, when I was seeing my stuff wasn't selling for back to school stuff, I'm like, I'm way behind the boat. And then I think I was listening to Stephen Peterson, e-commerce momentum. And then they had a lady on there that did bundles, and she was talking about how this, and I think it was September. And then she said, oh yeah, you can go ahead and send them in. That's why I started doing that. But then they said, well, they may not sell right away though. I'm like, okay, now I can see why. Yeah. So yeah, the inflatables do super well. And you can get those from any, out of big box stores. And then, so my point is I started doing the seasonal shopping, which I never did before, other than Christmas and toys. Right. So right now, what I'm looking at is books, flipping them on eFlip on Amazon. I'm starting to get into that. I'm a total beginner on that. I'm actually still on the trial on that. So you just buy them and flip them, and then you kind of look at last year's trends to see how they would probably do, and you kind of go from there. That's just I'm getting. Other people probably know way more about that. So right now it's all back to school type stuff for me right now.
Back to school, and that runs until September. and even some past September.
I mean, books you can get it. What's going to happen? What I saw last year with books, and it happens in January too. There's a kind of a sweet spot that you kind of want to find with books. I don't like to go too deep at all, and I also don't buy new books on Amazon anymore because of all the stuff I have no idea what's going on with them. The thing about books is you get these guys that will send you these boxes, and sometimes I'm talking about kind of you buy them ahead of time and you get like 20 of the same book, like 20 biology textbooks. And then sometimes they look mint, like I'm talking about them in shrink wrap, they're perfect. Sometimes it's the complete opposite, but it's the same buyer, or like there's a bunch of different bookstores that do this. And then it's weird. I think it's more of a time thing for them. They just need to get them out fast, and they don't care if it's new, used, or or beaten up or whatever. Right. So I think I'm getting on topic a little bit here, but books. So my point is, books is the main thing for me right now.
Another thing to start thinking about. I know a lot of these guys. When I think of the larger guys like John Cartier and the guys, they would say that they're 6 months to a year out on their Amazon purchasing, but they did large volumes. So as you get into wholesaling, you're actually further out than the average person. eBay we're a month out. The nice thing about eBay, there's no storage fees.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and list that Christmas stuff, because think about. I know a guy a friend of mine in Georgia that loves getting all this Christmas shopping done before September 15th.
That makes sense. I don't know these people, but I've been watching and listening to shows where I think there was this one guy they were talking about that he does like 99% of his sales in one, and it wasn't Christmas. It was like Mother's Day, I think. Or it was either Valentine's Day or Mother's Day. And that's it for the year. And he does like a little bit of toys at the end of the year. But all of his stuff is geared towards that one. I don't know if he just has a great wholesaler or he has his own, I don't know, manufacturing. I have no idea what it is. But apparently he does like 7 figures. And it's only in that one like 3-week period.
Yeah. Let's switch it up a little bit, Mo, and talk about on the other side of it, like what of the things have you seen different sourcing since it's summertime?
Okay.
And have you seen things that maybe you saw and you were on the fence, or say, hey, let's grab this for Q4? Are you starting to see better Q4 sourcing options?
What I notice I'm in Northern California, the Bay Area. What I notice is that in the end of spring, up until the end of spring, things are really good. Thrifting, RA is good. Like Walmart, for example, they purge a lot of stuff between March and May, maybe. I guess getting ready for Q3, Q4 themselves just early. Like I bought a lot of like health type stuff. But moving into this time of year, I think it's kind of hit and miss. Thrift stores is, in my opinion, really bad in this area, unless you're going to like the bins maybe. But my thrift stores are bare. And I know, I think it was a few months ago, I went to San Francisco. If you want to go to a place that has, maybe I'm wrong. I don't thrift in San Francisco very much. It's kind of far from me. But anyone that lives in San Francisco, I'd love to hear their thoughts on San Francisco thrift stores, because they're like empty shelves. It was bad. I'm talking about like main streets. You would imagine like, oh, this is a really, expensive neighborhood. It's right next to a Macy's or downtown, and the stores are empty. At least that's what I see in the summer times. In September, moving forward, I see more. I don't know what it is with thrift stores around here. They just go bare in the summer.
Wow.
Yeah, and I have to really go looking. It's usually in the summertime. I find I'll be purchasing niche items, stuff that's sitting there, like antiques.
Right. Do you think maybe that the lower volume at the thrift stores is because people are? I don't know your weather out there as far as like garage sale season. Like I know in a lot of parts in the South, or a lot of parts of the country, it gets too cold. So, people kind of hold on to the stuff, or they just get tired of looking at it, go to Goodwill. They don't have the garage sale. And then like here, Monday is in the South, the best time to go to the thrift store is Monday and Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday?
Yeah, all of the leftover stuff, all of the leftover stuff from garage sales hits them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the opposite from what I've seen. And I don't know if it's just my local thrift stores or what. I noticed that I want to say Monday is a day that they're beginning to restock. So it's either a day that you'll either get super lucky and then somebody's just dropped off a bunch of stuff. But if you're hoping for that, that's the trucks are kind of coming in to my local Goodwill at least. So I would say between Tuesday and Thursday is the best for me. And I don't really like thrifting on Friday or Saturday at all. I just kind of go to garage sales or estate sales.
Yeah. That's good. So back to the Q4 issue, Mo.
Yes.
So what's going to be the hot toy this year? You think?
Well, you know what? I've stolen this tip from. There's probably countless people who said this. Listen to young kids. I think who was it? I think it was somebody I forget that was talking about this. That he was in a Walmart and he was actually not. There was nobody in his aisle. Somebody was on the other side, and then they were just talking about toys and like, normal kid. Can I get this? And the mom's all, no, you can't get that. And he was screaming again, and he said, listen for that. If you hear 2 or 3 screams for the same toy, do your research.
If you don't have Mo, you have smaller children, so you can. If you don't have them, network with your families and say, hey, what are the kids looking for this Christmas? What's going to be? Because isn't it amazing that? Great point, Mo. Because those kids will know the hot toy.
Yes,
probably before we do.
Oh, they definitely will. Well, obviously it's TV, YouTube. I'm talking about 2, 3-year-olds are on watching YouTube channels,
right?
And they can't actually even read half the time. Like my daughter last year couldn't read. She was going to the aisles and pointing out stuff. That's a Zoom. That's Paw Patrol. Yeah. That's whatever. So yeah, last year I did that. I took my kids to Walmart and I just said, I didn't say anything. I just kind of walked around the toy aisle. And of course that's a double-edged sword. You're shooting yourself in the foot by doing that. But my son is not shy at all. He runs directly for what he wants, and he'll always grab the biggest box. But at the same time, he'll always pick up lots of different things on his way there. Like, oh, this is this. And I learn a lot just from watching them. Like my daughter is very Disney oriented. I don't know what the big hot toys are this year, but usually the trends are the last couple of years have been with Disney movies. Moana came out last year, but anything Moana related, I think will probably do well. If you're on Amazon, though, I'm guessing it's going to be restricted or possibly restricted. For kids' toys, there's always that one like board game or something. Kids don't really like that kind of stuff, to be honest. At least my kids didn't like. What was the one with the mouthpiece in there?
Yeah, Smash Mouth or something.
Yeah,
Trash Talk or something.
Last year I kind of moved away from board games, like chasing those for a little bit.
I've noticed. I've never got on that trend. I'm not a trend type.
Danvers just said Hatchimals. That's right. Hatchimals was last year. That was huge. My daughter still buys those to this day, even though they have these little things. You know what the strangest thing is? I'm getting off topic again. They have things called blind bags, which irritate me to no end. A blind bag is a little bag. It costs $2.99 to $4.99. And you don't know what the toy is in there. It says blind bag, and it'll be like, DC Comics blind bag, Superman blind bag. I'm like, you don't know what's in there. They're trying to get you to buy the same thing 50 times, and there's only 6 of them.
We did that, but we had candy in it called Cracker Jacks.
Okay, but that's different though. Technically, they're selling you the candy.
The candy, right? They're not doing the blind bags. So I think. I've also, talking about some of the YouTube channels I've seen and talking about the slowdown, and it is disheartening sometimes, and you have to realize, but just hang in there, because Q4, if you're a new seller, I think one of our people in the chat said they're a new seller, that if you're a new seller and this is going to be your first coming up on fourth quarter, hold on to your seat because it is a blast.
Yes,
man. I mean, you put stuff up that in the summertime. I know. Let's just take a Wii right now. Full Wii would go at what, $45, $50.
Yeah.
In summertime or in Q4, right around Thanksgiving, you're looking at 80, 90, 100, 110.
Yeah, until they restricted them. But yeah.
Yeah. On eBay.
Yeah.
eBay.
Oh yeah. That's true.
And it's just amazing what some of those prices go for in Q4, and you'll think, you sell the same thing all year long, and then all of a sudden Q4 hits, and you're like, oh, I get $50 for this, and then you notice somebody says, hey, put 150 on it, and you get it, and you're just like, oh wow. So Q4 can be extremely fun time.
Yes. What I would say, I mean, a couple of tips that I wish somebody would help me with Q4 is people ask about the trends, and they'll say, if you're already seeing it on a YouTube video, like buy this board game or buy this toy, the prices have already probably started. I mean, you can check like, keeper, camel, find out that kind of stuff. But generally, if it's already like, November or something like that, and you're looking at stuff, it might be a little bit late because that happened with me with a couple. What was it last year? Oh, okay. Oregon Trail. I don't know if you ever saw the little Oregon Trail. It was like a little black box, and they were going for, I want to say like $30 at one point, maybe more. I got into them on the Target buy two get one free day or something like that. I bought like 50 of them, and I was getting them for like, I don't know, like $8, $9 a piece. They dropped to like $11.
Yeah. Yeah. An item can't tank. And that's something we learned as Amazon people, those hot items can tank very fast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And I wish, on the one hand, I want to know what's going to be crazy successful in Q4. On the other hand, I'm a little nervous now to know, oh, this is going to be the next Hatchimal or whatever. It's just, I'm trying to get away from that. I've heard a lot of big sellers saying, you know what, the toys, and the worst is that halfway through Q4 last year, I think certain toys got restricted. I forget which one it was. Yeah. But they never did that within a quarter before. Usually they wait till like January.
Yeah, I think it was like right at Thanksgiving or right after Thanksgiving that restriction hit, and it just,
Oh man.
I saw you mentioned Tanya, Thrifty Treasures. She's in our chat. Thank you, Tanya. Yep. Looking forward to
check out her channel. She's awesome.
Absolutely. It's one thing to do. You and I both, we live, eat, and breathe this business, so it's a fun thing to do, and we have our slow times. It's kind of something I would stress to new resellers, that these are downtimes. Be ready for them. Do other things, or actually just take the time off.
Yeah.
And take your time off, because man, you can do this business 24/7.
Oh yeah.
Every month, year, something's always selling. You can always list. You can always send stuff into Amazon, but take some of your time off too.
So on that note, are you the kind of guy have you ever been that Black Friday crazy shopper? You're out there at 4 a.m, or like the whole week, you do nothing but like a lot of these guys I've heard.
No, just because I Black Friday shop for myself and a few things. Okay. It's just, now this year's going to be different. My plan of going, Q4, I'm going to go from retail to retail.
Yeah.
So it's just a different thing. I'm wanting to upgrade, or I'm wanting to really slam in my Amazon business for Q4 this year.
You want to go into that a little bit, or?
We will another time. You know, when I get
no
more of
problem.
a plan on. Yeah, well, that'd be a good one as we get closer about that and
That
how,
makes sense.
because and then, you know, that's going to be a good learning curve for me because I've never done that before.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
Set out of the frying pan into the fire.
Kind of just jump in and go, you know, especially I'll have the advantage that if, you know, I'll move from city to city. So I plan on spending a lot of gas.
Sounds like it. If you're going from city to city, I want to see some videos and some pictures.
We are. Yeah, I'm still learning that aspect of it. So it's going to be good. But
yeah, my Q4, to be honest, I'll get the itch. I don't have to go out there for a couple of days. There'll be a day or two, or maybe a week that it'll be like 12 hours, 10 hours. But then I don't like going out, to be honest, on Black Friday, the day Black Friday, whatever that day that is.
Right.
I don't really like shopping then at all. I've done it. I did it last year. I don't like it though. I just feel like, yeah, there's crazy sales, but I want to get everything done before then. And especially if, like you said, like your family's at home. Maybe I'm lazy, I don't know, but I just don't like competing like shoulder to shoulder, literally. Like I'm not the kind of guy that go to a Goodwill, like the bins, and push somebody out of the way to get a pair of jeans or something like that. I'll be like, all right, go ahead and take it, whatever.
I'm not into that. There's enough stress in day-to-day life without dealing with that type of stress and anxiety. Yeah. So, Mo, if I could end on a note, I know I didn't even ask you if I could do this earlier, but just wanted to reach out to people like you and yourself, and tell the reselling community, thank you so much for the outpouring of support and love and prayers that is happening with my nephew, who got me into the reselling business. He's a green room member too, Zachary. If you've seen some of the posts on social media and stuff, Zachary is my nephew. And just thank you to the reselling community for that outpouring. He is doing better, and we're hoping he'll be home from Guatemala soon. It will be over one day. But thank you so much, Mo, for your help on that.
Oh, no worries. Everyone's just waiting for him to come home, and we'll get him on the show. We'll talk to him because he's a reseller too. So
I can't wait to get him going. So because he is a big video guy, so he's into that video system big time.
Nice.
So he'll teach us a lot. Make sure you follow us, folks. Thanks for stopping by, and make sure you follow us on Instagram. You got the Niche Reseller on Instagram, right?
Yeah, I got reversed. Reseller niche was taken, so I had to reverse it.
Right, Niche Reseller. And then, of course, my channel and Instagram is the Roaming Picker. And go from there.
Sounds good. So until the next time, guys, we're going to do more hangouts. And everyone listening, if you're listening on the podcast, listening on or watching on YouTube, thank you. And we will talk to you next time. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks.